Hello. If you resonated, I promise I'm wearing pants. If you resonated with the Two of Wands, maybe I'll just. If you resonated with the Two of Wands, then this is your reading. Um, okay, so this is the Two of Wands. This is your dream reading. Let's see what Spirit wants to say for you. Okay, Two of Wands, Spirit. What is the Two of Wands group talking about? La di da di da. King of Cups. That's so funny. I just sang out, and the King of Cups is singing here. This King of Cups always comes across to me as a grandmother, not a man, which I think is trying to tell us something about the energy. It's kind of like the mother who. It's like the it's like the grandmother who ended up raising all the children, especially like raising the sons, but had to play both the mother and the father. So has this really strong masculine presence as well. Yeah, it's almost like you had to be both, or someone had to be both. Maybe you were raised by a grandmother that had to be both energies, or by a mother that had to be both, that had to do it all, and you could feel like there was something taken from you in terms of like you can feel like there's something taken from you in terms of your voice, or even just the presence of like a grounded masculine energy. I think there's something around masculinity. There could be not feeling masculine enough, not feeling like you had a strong masculine presence, not feeling balanced in that, not feeling rooted to that. Judgment in the world. I think there's something here around emotions. And kind of trying to search for this emotional fulfillment in all of, like, everywhere and in everything. Maybe you tried to find this fulfillment in things that you thought were typically, that would like make you more balanced or more grounded, or there's just this feeling of feeling like the odd one out, or feeling left out of something that you should inherently belong to because of this, and that, because of what the world paints masculinity to be, or what the world paints identity to be. There's this energy of like, well, I should have this naturally. But I think what Spirit is coming through and saying is that what you think that you should have naturally is actually just a construct. And your sense of identity and your attachment to this, which might come from a place of lack because it feels like something that you actually don't really have in the way that you think you should have it. It's just an illusion. Yeah, it's just an illusion, a projection of, so many people's insecurities that have built up this thing that we should all be, that we should all have. Like if you're a man and you're being told how your masculinity should present, or if you're a woman and you're being told how your femininity should present, but there is this focus on masculine energy. So if you don't identify as a man, this could be talking about the masculine energy within yourself, and not feeling as though it lives up to what it should be, or feeling like you've been pressured to live in masculinity when you don't want to do that, when you're trying to be more balanced and perhaps be able to access different energies beyond that energy of having to be like the leader, or like, I don't know, just these stereotypical masculine things. Like if you were a mother, it would be having to do both, having to be the mother and the father. If you're if you identify as a woman, or just not, if you identify as not being a man, then there's this energy of really having to like live in a man's world, or dealing with the patriarchy. And if you're a man, then there's this energy of not fitting or not living up to this sense of masculinity and what it means to be a man. And I think Spirit is coming through and just saying that all of that is a construct, and that none of that actually means anything, and that you are good enough. I feel like there's definitely this energy of feeling like the odd one out. There could be like a black sheep energy, but there's also just this feeling of like, feeling like you are the one that is, like, it was intentional that you were born this way. It was intentional. I think that Spirit is saying it was intentional that you were created this way. It was intentional that you were made with this energy that is noticeably different, that is recognizably different. It's intentional that you stand out from the crowd. That was intentional, because there's something that you are meant to bring into, there's could be something that you're meant to bring into your family, but there's also this energy that you're meant to bring into the world when it comes to like healing around how we should be. It just feels like you're a peacock, like you're very special, and you're meant to bring more unique, special, diverse energy into the world, especially when if you are a part of, or you live in a society that is super for everybody being the same. You really bring out individuality. You really question the status quo, and I think that that's a gift. So you could be having dreams that highlight this feeling of being the odd one out. You could have dreams that are like having like a gender war type of dream, like where it's like a lot of like man versus woman, that kind of energy. Or just there could be commentary about gender in your dreams a lot. There could be a tug of war on like having to be super masculine, things around that, around taking action, around things that you typically associate. You could have a dream that really plays into stereotypes and confronting stereotypes, some type of conversation about that. And you could have a dream about you showing your specialness, you showing your uniqueness. There's overall this energy about you are meant to fly above, the typical standards of the world. You are meant to shine. You are meant to see beyond that and be beyond that. You are meant to be like the strike of lightning, something that is so powerful and so special, and you can't help but be seen, and your light is so strong and so powerful that it can often, you might deal with your light often highlighting and shining and exposing the cruelness in others, or I don't want to say the darkness, because I'm trying to change my language around darkness, but just the suffering in others. Your light can expose that, and you could face a lot of rebuke because of that. But you have a gift of being able to present the uniqueness of Spirit in the world, and I think you really should not try to blend in. It might be it might be a first, like an initial reaction to blend in. It might seem like common sense. It might feel like what makes sense, especially for survival, like especially for like social survival, economic survival. But I think Spirit is saying that they don't want you to blend in. It's almost hard to see. It's almost like you just kind of have a blinding light. It's really hard for you to blend in. I feel like you really stick out in the crowd. I think you really stick out. Even when you're trying to hide yourself, I think you stick out. And I think that this is something that you might have gotten from your mother. You could be very similar to your mother. She could be someone who also really sticks out. And it could be without trying, but your mother could have been someone who wore that a little bit more proudly. And because of people's reactions to that, or because of the shame within yourself, that could have been something that you decided to do the opposite of. So you might have gone the opposite way and started to really hide yourself. Actually, because I get more of a loving presence from your mother. So this could be something that you receive from the feminine side of yourself, or the feminine side of your family. Um, or you could just have more of a strong feminine energy that seems to be trying to be stifled, trying to be put down. But it's like overgrown, and it's almost like you can't help it. I really feel like it's something that you can't help. And even when you try to keep things clean and organized, they just get messy. But that messiness is actually just your uniqueness. It's just your wonder spilling over. Like, you just can't be contained. I feel like you can't be contained. And no matter how much you try to camouflage yourself, it just doesn't work. I feel like this was always who you were meant to be. This is always the plan. There's not a mistake here. You're not like this by mistake. There's nothing for you to change. This is intentional. Your spirit and the way that you are in the world is intentional. Your voice is intentional. I feel like there's a need to stop turning your back on the world. Stop trying to hide. Stop trying to be in the background, in the shadows. There's a need for you to come out and show yourself. It's like someone who always wears hats so that you can never see their face, or you can never see their hair or something. It's someone who dresses really plainly and just hides themselves. And I feel like Spirit is saying they want you to be in abundance. They want you to represent the fullness of yourself. You are unique, you are special, and you are meant to be that way. And they want you to live in that energy more openly. Because it's magical. And it will show people that there are different ways of being. That you don't have to be uniform. That everybody doesn't have to be the same. We are meant to be unique. We are meant to be special. Hold on. The Eight of Wands, the Seven of Cups, and Temperance. Yeah, I feel like Spirit is saying if there's another version of you that you're searching for, you're not going, if there's this version of you that you're searching for that fits into this mold, and it's like you're trying to dig to find that version of you, you're not going to find it. You have come down to this earth exactly as you should be. You came down to this earth as in your light. You came down to this planet in your divineness. And that could have been something that you really faced struggles for, because you have an energy that's not always, that people don't always see a lot. Just in your light. And even in the most plain clothes, you're recognizable. It's recognizable that you are an angel. This really does feel like strong masculine energy. It feels like this is a pile that a lot of men or people in their masculine energy might choose, but who represent a different aspect of masculinity, one that we don't get to see very often, or one that is often challenged and faced with hardships because it's not seen as good enough. And that could mean whatever it means. It could mean that you do represent in maybe a more stereotypically masculine way, but because it's authentically you, and because of the way that we're dealing with masculinity right now, maybe people call you toxic, and they try to make you change or feel bad about yourself, but that's who you naturally are. You're not putting on a performance. Either way, it feels like some type of challenge to who you naturally are. And I think Spirit is saying, part of your purpose, part of what you're meant to do in this lifetime is not give in to becoming something else and to putting on these masks. You have to continue to shine as you've always done. You have to continue to be yourself. The challenge for this lifetime is to be yourself the entire time, and to stop searching for another part of you that fits in more with the mold, because you're not going to find it. This is you. No matter how far you dig, no matter where you go looking, you're going to end up always just finding yourself. And there's this energy of getting comfortable with just being you, being in this body, being you. Nine of Cups, reversed. Yeah, there's also, you might also just like be someone who feels really out of your element down here on Earth. Like it just might be hard for you to be on this planet. This could be like a starseed pile. Like you could just really resonate with not being from here, and you might feel like an alien pretty often. Or like a fish out of water. You might just feel like you're in the upside down, or just might feel odd. And you might want to pursue a career path that's not super typical or just maybe unexpected. You might want to do some type of healing work, like specifically working with the body, even, or like with the undercherished. I feel like you have a very knightly energy, like a very knight energy, and like angelic energy as well. Like I think you're very soft, and I think you're very sensitive, very soft and very sensitive and very kind, and very in tune with how you feel, and very in tune with like the shadow, with the opposite, with the backside of people. Yeah, I just think that you see beyond, and I think it might be difficult sometimes because you might feel strange in your own body. You might feel uncomfortable in your own body, and you might feel uncomfortable with the position that you're given in the world, the power that you're given in the world, or the lack thereof. But it kind of feels like the power, like I feel like you might be uncomfortable with like violence, brute force, war, weapons, power, like extreme power. I feel like those are things that you just don't really resonate with, and you're more interested in being a helper and a hero, but like a quiet hero, a hero in the shadows, and a support. Like I don't think it's not really giving the energy of somebody who wants to like be like Jeff Bezos, like that big and powerful. I feel like it's hard for you to see the point in that. And you like to do things that keep you grounded and keep you connected, I think. If you're like, I think that being in the corporate world doesn't really work for you. And like you might try to be in the corporate world and help as like an HR person, but like I think overall it's kind of hard. I feel like you're meant to do like alternative medicines or healing. There's just something else. Something that's not super strict and cold and isolated. And I think that you might want to help the needy. You might want to like do work with the homeless, with the unhoused, you might want to feed people, you might want to volunteer, you might want to do that kind of work. Like you might want to be like a social worker, or like run a charity house or something like that. But I feel like you have this energy of like you want to cater to others, you want to serve and help others. I think that's where you feel the most fulfilled. Like you don't mind being a busboy if it means that you get to like help people. I don't know. Just this energy of service. I think that's where you find a lot of clarity. And I think you just have a very pure spirit, a very pure soul. It feels like you don't need too much. You just kind of want to be able to be yourself and express yourself without too much judgment. And I think you're very intuitive. And I think that might be something that might be an insecurity, just because it might be very strong in you. I think that you're very intuitive, and I think you are connected to your feminine energy. And I think it's a blessing. Like I think it's something to be very proud of. And even if you might experience shaming because of that, or self-shame, guilt around that. But it's your strength, it's your power. And just because you don't present power in the same way that others do, or in the way that people might expect you to, doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. You have a different presentation of that. And if there are things that you don't resonate with, that you feel like you should, but you really connect with nature and like plants and things like that, then don't judge yourself for that. Allow yourself to connect with whatever it is that you connect with, because that's beautiful. And we need more people who are willing to be themselves in that way and and provide a safe space. Maybe you're meant to open up a space for other people to feel safe to do the same and to talk about that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I feel like you also really try to see eye to eye with people. I think you really try to see the world from a balanced perspective. I think you're very open-minded. I think you actually try to share the space with others who actually try to like butt up against you. I think you're usually trying to share the space, and other people might be trying to go against you. And so I think there might need to be some stronger boundaries when it comes to trying to help people, because I think that you might have the best intentions, but I think that other people don't always. And just because you can see past their insecurity and see that there's actually pain here or a desire to connect doesn't mean that that is like that will is strong enough to reach that person at the surface. Sometimes the pain is too strong, and so you won't be able to access the part of them that is kind and loving, and so you end up hurting yourself in the process. 1717 could be a number pattern for you. 1717, or I guess 888 could be a number pattern for you. The number 7 could be significant. Yeah, number 7. Number 7, 1717, and like 88. Those are all numbers that, if you see those or anything like that, that could be a message from Spirit, just of love. Oh God. Okay, let's get an oracle card. I feel like you're very creative, and I think that you can figure out creative ways to help people, creative ways to serve people. Two of Wands. Two of Wands. Two of Wands. Two of Wands. Are there any messages for them? No. No. Wait, postpone, pause, say no. You might be somebody who has people saying no to them a lot, being kind of iced out very often. And that could make you feel like cold and isolated. But I think that Spirit is saying that this won't always be the energy of your life. That you're not someone who deserves to always be said no to. You deserve to have yes in your life. You deserve to have people who welcome you and support you. And if that's not the energy of people who are currently around you, then it's okay to let them go. Yeah. Soul family, call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. You don't deserve to always have to only be told no. If everything is always a no when it comes to you, then the people who are around you don't see you, don't see your value, don't see your worth, and you need to let them go. That's okay. It's okay for you to let people go. It's not selfish. And there's also nothing wrong with being selfish in balance. It's not really selfishness at all. Warrior woman, have you answered your deepest calling? Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. Starseed, what lights you up? Answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? Longing for home, belonging, the original light workers, Mintaken. Yeah, I do think that you might have some starseed. Like, I think you might resonate with things like that. It might make you feel less alone to watch things like that. But then to speak about it, you don't even need to watch things like that. Maybe speaking about your experience here on this planet would be helpful. The initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. I think that you're going to experience, I think the more that you give in to this energy and not closing yourself off from yourself, because I feel like you're feeling a pull to explore this a little bit more and to kind of stop digging for something else and just work on self-acceptance. I think that you're going to be shown, I think you're going to be surprised. I think you're going to be happily surprised. And I think it might trigger something in you that is much needed. So, yeah, thank you so much, Two of Wands. I hope you resonated. I hope that you got the messages that you needed to receive, and I'll speak to you soon. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe.